It's time for
DodgerHeads.
high fly ball into right field. Hey, Dodgers have won it all in 2020. Shohei Ohtani, 50-50 club. Strikes him out. There's a drive. Shohei Ohtani. Freeman hits the ball. She is gone. Birthday party, Los Angeles. Your Dodgers have won the World Series.
What's up, Dodger fans? Welcome into DodgerHeads Live, presented by DodgerBlue.com, part of the Medium Large Sports Network. My name is Jeff Spiegel, joined tonight by Anthony Witrado, as I am every Tuesday night, here to talk about the Los Angeles Dodgers, who, Anthony, in case you were curious, have extended their National League West lead to 8 games over the San Diego Padres, 9 games over the Giants, who, surprising to nobody, have started to fall back down to earth. But the Dodgers beat the White Sox. All is right in the world, Anthony.
Yeah, stunning that the Giants have fallen apart here. Yeah, look, this was a pretty methodical kind of win. Right out of the gates, Yamamoto getting some run support, that was huge. And he did, I think, what we were hoping he would do, what he should be doing against a lineup like the White Sox. So yeah, just we were kind of joking around when we first got on before we came on live, that it was just sort of a no muss, no fuss kind of win, just straight to the point, get it done. Let's get out of there. Kerhsaw tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we've passed the 30-second mark, which everybody said I couldn't wait for before I said this. But I think this is the Michael Conforto game, right? I mean, the guy, he's just a hero out there in left field, Anthony. He's running balls down against the wall, gets a big hit in the first inning. I mean, we're past the 30-second mark, so we could get there. But Yamamoto, of course, the hero in this one. But, I mean, come on. Michael Conforto, 2 outs. How many people, be honest, folks, how many of you thought Conforto was going to come through? He comes through, 2-run single. And like you said, this ended up being very straightforward, what we all hoped as Dodgers fans when you play the White Sox. These games, more often than not, should be put to bed early. And it was 4-0 in the bottom of the first, and Yamamoto goes and cruises from there. So the storyline, of course, is Yoshinobu Yamamoto. So let's dive in to him in just a second. We've got a couple super chats to get to. Fritz, thank you for the super chat. Beautiful looking dog, of course. Nice to see Yoshi get his jumbo jacks on his own with some run support for once. Conforto had a good game on both sides of the ball, up and to the right. Vote for Pages. Yes, agreed. I mean, in all seriousness, Anthony, I joked on Twitter that Conforto was like 6 for his last 16. I'm not pretending like that's a large sample size, but it's just nice to see, like, the thing that jumps out, and I did post this as well. I believe we're up to like 20 consecutive plate appearances without a strikeout for Conforto, which, if you followed this guy for the beginning of the season, that was what killed him. If this guy is putting the ball in play, he's going to get some better luck. He's going to get some better results. And I was just happy for him personally to be able to get that knock after a few days off because of some lefties on the mound.
Yeah. I did not realize that until you sent that tweet out about the strikeouts. That's interesting. I think anybody who kind of has a run like that, it's gonna coincide with the numbers looking better, and that's the case for him. There's still some not weird, but just still some trend stuff that at this point, I don't know if it's fixable or how to fix it. But like, he barreled up a line drive kind of, but he hit it the other way again, and it's just like, man, if you could start to get the bat head around on those a little more. Get that ball out in front of the plate a little more. That's where the damage can start to really, really come into play. So we'll see. But no, very good game for him. With the big hit early and before the game was decided, and then the nice catch over there by the wall. So yeah, good for him. I have noticed myself not being so pessimistic lately when he comes to the plate in the spot. It's like, okay, all right, maybe he can do it. And he came through in that at-bat tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple more super chats here. 300. Great. We're back. Great win Freddie looks really bad. I'm a little concerned. I don't know if my video is cutting out or if it's just my computer that's freaking out. Can you hear me, Anthony?
I got you. Okay. Yeah. You
All
look
right.
fine.
Well, geez Louise, computer's going absolutely berserk over here. 300, great win. Freddie looks really bad. I'm a little concerned. And Stockton Slap similarly. Freddie got old overnight. He looks 58 years old. I mean, we appreciate the super chats. Look, it's been a rough stretch for Freddie Freeman. He goes 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts tonight. It's just the anti-Freddie Freeman line, Anthony, to see 3 strikeouts and an 0 for on a night when 7 hits from the Dodgers, 3 walks. Obviously, they score 6 runs. We know Freddie's been down bad. Clearly, a couple off days on Sunday and Monday did not get him right.
No, he had a good game in Kansas City, I think it was. You were kind of hoping, okay, maybe we start to turn the tide a little bit, but yeah, tonight just looked bad.
Yeah.
Kind of just overmatched a little bit. Just really didn't feel like he was in any of the at bats. This break can't come quick enough for him, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, and who knows how much of a break it's going to be, likely to be an all-star starter. So, but yeah, the thing with Freddie is he's the type of guy that can snap out of this in a heartbeat. He kind of go have one good session in the cage or one good session on the field, whatever it might be, and all of a sudden it feels like things can click pretty quickly. It's pretty remarkable given how poor he has been lately that he's still hitting 300 with a slug over 500. Just
Right.
goes to show you how incredibly hot he was prior to this. But to both those super chats points, it's been a rough stretch for Freddie Freeman. And again, this is the beauty of the Dodgers. When we talked about on Sunday, Anthony, how much wider the margin for error is for the Dodgers, this is the perfect example. Freddie Freeman can go through a stretch like the one he's been in, and the Dodgers have won like 12 of their last 15 games or something like that. Like, that's just how the Dodgers are able to put these things behind them. Ohtani's 1 for 4 with the home run. Freddie Freeman 0 for 4. Mookie Betts out of the lineup. They score 6 runs, no big deal. So that's the beauty of being a Dodgers fan right now. Let's talk. We just got one more super chat here. Stockton Slap says, how many Dodgers will be all-stars? How many will be starters? We got our first update in phase 2 voting, Anthony, and it's not promising. We need to do better, Dodgers fans. We don't have enough guys in there. As a reminder, the Dodgers had 8 potential all-stars. Shohei Ohtani as one is already locked in. 8 guys, I should say, that can be voted for. And so far, we've got Freddie Freeman in first place, Tommy Edman in second, Mookie in second, Pages in sixth, Muncy in second, Will Smith in first, Teoscar in fourth. So as it currently stands, Freddie Freeman and Will Smith would be the only 2 other players added to Shohei Ohtani as all-star starters. Edman, Betts, Muncy all in second place out of 2, and then Teoscar and Pages 4th and 6th out of 6. So right now it looks like the answer is going to be 3 starters. Yamamoto feels like he's a safe bet to be an all-star as well. But what do you see, Anthony, as far as numbers?
Yeah, I think so. In these rules, it's the top finishers; those are the starters, and the second place guys. Nothing happens, right? It's just
Correct.
you might
They're
get
just
picked as a reserve later.
Thrown back into the pile.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see Mookie beating. I don't see Mookie overcoming that. Paez either. I think they end up with the 3 starters. I think those guys are obviously Ohtani secure. I think Will Smith wins that. And then Freddie at first base. I would say probably Yamamoto.
Yeah, he feels like a safe bet to just be in. And Dave Roberts even said he thinks, he's one of the best small number of pitchers in baseball. Obviously, nights like tonight help.
Yeah. And then maybe you get like a Tanner Scott in there as a reliever. And then I would say probably like I would feel confident that Paez gets picked as a reserve.
I'm with you. Yeah, he feels like of all these guys, right? If Freeman makes it, and
possibly Max, possibly Muncy too.
Yeah, if Edman, Betts, Pages, Teoscar, and Muncy, if none of those guys make it as starters, I would say that Pages is the best bet of that group to just make it as a reserve, which would be cool. Obviously, a first one for him and those other guys. I'm with you. Muncy's probably second on that list. I don't think Edman, Betts, and Teoscar really have much of a case to be all-stars outside of a fan vote. So I think Pages and Muncy would be the only other ones. The more I think about Tanner Scott, I just don't know if, given how many other Dodgers there are going to be, if he really has a case to be made here. So I would guess right now, if you're asking me to put a number on it, Freeman, Smith, Ohtani, and Yamamoto are the 4 that I would say I feel really good about. I'd probably go 5 because I would say I think Pages creeps in. But look, I mean, a lot could change. Like Teoscar Hernandez could be a starter by the next time we get an update here. Edmund, Betts, Muncy, one of those guys could jump into first. So there's lots of room for movement there. So we appreciate that super chat. Freedom with the super chat. Freddie will be fine. Everybody has the Blues. Look at Muncy. He figured it out. Look at Muncy. He figured it out. Look at Pages. He figured it out. Right. Again, Freddie Freeman. We're going to talk Mookie Betts a little bit later. These are just 2 guys that the track record has been long enough that betting against them might be right, but it seems more likely that these guys ultimately figure it out. Another super chat here from Stockton Slap. Are we playing the Tigers or the Astros in the World Series? What do you think, Anthony? Tigers or Astros?
I like the Tigers right now. When you have a true ace, that means something. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
The American League, we talked about this a few weeks ago or so. It just feels like a weird sort of league. There's no one that really sort of sticks out as like that team, including the Tigers. Like they're good and they're, I know what their record is and everything like that. But outside of School Bowl, like they just seem like a pretty solid team. And that division isn't great. You look at the National League, and I think outside of the Dodgers, like you could at least point to a couple of teams that you would think would have a chance. So I would say the Tigers right now, but there's not a lot of confidence there.
Yeah, give me the Mariners, baby. Pacific Northwest, big dumper, the rotation. Sign me up for the Mariners. There you go. How about that? All right, let's get to Yamamoto. We haven't dove in enough to the guy who was the player of the game, unquestionably. 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned, 1 walk. 8 strikeouts for Yamamoto. Completely dominant. 65 of his 98 pitches for strikes. Lowers the season ERA to 2.51. One little rough patch, Anthony, ends up retiring the last 10 batters that he faces, though. This guy was just dialed in. And again, we keep saying it, what you hope and expect against a team like the White Sox. And we got to give Yamamoto credit because he delivered.
Yeah. Like I said earlier, I was texting a buddy and he said, you need these practice games sometimes to get right, to get yourself on, in a good rhythm. And his last 2 starts against the Rockies and the White Sox, maybe they were a little bit of that, but he looked good. Stuff looked sharp. He was efficient. It was just an all around really good outing. I thought the command was pretty good.
Yeah.
I think he's found the form again.
Yeah. And it was impressive because you look at the whiff numbers, it wasn't overwhelming. I think it was like a 21% whiff rate, which is like fine. But it felt better than that. I think to your point, I think it was the command. He did get a number of called strikes, which helped. But when Yamamoto is right, he has such a diverse arsenal that he can go to. And guys were swinging and missing at the fastball. They were swinging and missing at the splitter. They were staring at the breaking ball. Like, it didn't matter what he threw. It felt like he could throw all of his pitches with a high level of command. And so while no one of those pitches felt overwhelmingly dominant tonight, it also never really felt like the White Sox were threatening. I know they ended up adding 1 run with the double into the left field corner. But, I mean, other than that, he was dominant. Again, he retires the last 10 guys that he faces, just 98 pitches. And the good news here is for the Dodgers, Anthony, they have the off day on Monday. They come back on Tuesday. Jack Dreyer and Anthony Bonda, the only 2 guys who need to be used. 20 pitches for Dreyer, 17 pitches for Bonda, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, no hits between the 2 of them. So the Dodgers, not that we're in a stretch where you're like seriously concerned about bullpen usage, but we're going to get to some injury news here in just a second. The fact that they can get out of game 1 with just 2 guys being used and a couple guys who have the ability to go back to back or 3 out of 4 if they need. It's nice knowing that the bullpen is getting an extended break this week, we hope.
Yeah, and this is a trait that you look for in a number one ace type of guy, your stopper kind of guy.
Yeah.
And we had missed some of that for Yamamoto over the course of June with some of those ugly, rough outings. And then even with the Dodgers, just as an organization where they don't really let their starting pitchers go deep into games, especially earlier in the season, you sometimes miss out on that part of it. And what Yamamoto did tonight, and he's done it a few times this season, I think getting into the seventh, is that it saves your pen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so
Totally.
whenever you can kind of count on this, this used to be Kershaw, right? 10 years ago, when you can count on a guy to go out there and this guy's probably going 7 tonight, and the bullpen can kind of chill out and keep their slides on out there. Like that's a good feeling. And Yamamoto is a guy who has done that in the past for them. And it looks like he's back on track to keep doing that, this season.
And it was a low stress 7 innings for him, if you could say that. It was 98 pitches, which is a big number, but how many of those pitches felt stressful? Almost none of them, I would say. And so, for a guy that there's been talk about, how many days off does he actually need, the month of June and some struggles that he had, again, a 7 dominant innings for him. And you look at the White Sox 5 at bats with runners in scoring position tonight. They go 1 for 5. They leave 4 guys on base. So incredible stuff from Yamamoto and incredible stuff from Dreyer and Bonda as well. Some more super chats here. Carlos Garcia said Smith had 5 more swing and miss than Yamamoto. Smith was an interesting one. That guy was throwing heat. I like on the broadcast, they said he averaged 95 on his fastball normally, and everything was coming out 98 tonight. It felt like, I'm going to be honest. I bet the under on strikeouts, and the guy got back-to-back strikeouts to get to 4 in like the last half inning, I think, before he came out. We had the over on runs allowed and the under on strikeouts, and the bottom of the Dodgers order, I think it was Edman and Ha-Seong Kim with back-to-back strikeouts. I could be wrong about that, but those guys hung me out to dry a little bit. But what did you see? I mean, were you impressed by Smith? Obviously, the final box score for him, 6 earned runs, 6 hits, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, but did you like what you saw from him?
I thought he was okay. That first inning was obviously rough for him. I think some of the intensity and some of the at bats went away after that, and then maybe that makes it a little easier on him and things like that. But he did get some swing and miss, but also I thought there were some guys in the lineup that were able to grind him a little bit and foul pitches off and make him work a lot, even in those later innings. I mean, I wasn't like overly like, oh my gosh, look at this guy. Like it wasn't one of those outings against the guy who you kind of don't know, and he shuts down the Dodgers for 6 innings.
Yeah, I do think every run the Dodgers scored was with 2 outs. Is that right? I know obviously all 4 runs they scored in the first were that way. Yeah, I think all 6 runs they scored were with 2 outs. So if you wanted to make the case for Smith having a nice night, it felt like maybe he was one pitch away from escaping. I mean, the first inning was hilarious because he gets the first 2 outs on 3 pitches.
3 pitches, yeah.
And then it's walk, RBI, seeing eye single up the middle from Teoscar Hernandez, a double from Andy Pages, and then a 2-run single from the hero of the game, obviously, Michael Conforto, to break that one open. So, kudos to him. He's a White Sox, so tough stuff. We'll say positive things about him. Noah says making Muncy start over Machado will make Padres fans lose their minds. Muncy has my vote. Look, with the Padres broadcaster, it's like obviously he's going to hype up his guy. Steven Nelson did a similar thing for Andy Pages, and Machado has had a good season. Like Muncy struggled out the gates, but to Noah's real point here is we should be voting just to spite Padre fans a little bit too, because there's how nice would it be for Max Muncy? How nice would it be as a Dodgers fan? And then there is how funny would it be to have Max Muncy get voted in Manny Machado? All those things are in the water here. So I agree with you on that, Noah. Stockton Slap's got a $10 super chat, and he's got a big question for us, Anthony. It's game 1 of the Fall Classic. Name who is on the field for the Dodgers and what position they're at. I expect perfection from you. I'll save this clip. Include potential trades, please. We'll just go around the horn here. We'll start in an easy spot. Catcher. I'm going with a gentleman by the name of Will Smith. I think will be the Dodgers catcher. You agree?
Yes. Future All-Star to be Will Smith. I'm with you on that.
Okay. Freddie Freeman at first base, I think is another easy one. Second base is where it gets pretty interesting here, Anthony. Let's see. I will go with Ha-Seong Kim starting at second base for the Dodgers in the World Series.
Okay. I'm going to go Tommy Edman.
Okay. You've got a decision to make later on, but we'll wait till we get there.
Yes,
Shortstop is Mookie Betts for me. I assume the same for you.
Absolutely.
Max Muncy at third base is an easy one. I'll let you go first. You just give me your right to left or your left to right outfield, however you want to do this.
I'll go easy one. It will be Teoscar in right.
Okay.
I am going to go Pages in center.
Okay.
And I'm going to go Conforto in left.
So no major trades on the position player side is the decision that you're making here.
I don't see at the moment any needle moving lineup changes at the deadline happening.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I don't know who those guys would be. There's like all but like 6 teams are in contention. So it's a seller's market. And some of those sellers like just really don't have anything offensively to sort of like really make it feel enticing, I think, for considering what the Dodgers have. And I pick Conforto in left, which I'm sure I'll get lit up over.
No, people love it. People are super big Conforto fans right now. So you're good there.
But here's the thing is like, I think he'll be better. I don't think he'll be.
Can't be worse.
Yeah. I think he'll start to find it. I do not defend Conforto, talking to the chat right now. Like I've been off that ship for a while. So if anyone here is a regular, you know that I have not defended Conforto. But I think he'll be better. And I think that the Dodgers are just going to ride with him. Like I do. And I don't, if they haven't trusted Kim to this point, I don't think they're going to trust him with everyone healthy to give him a start in game 1 over the conversation has never fallen just to him and Conforto. And so that's why I think people are trying to parse this out as like it's one or the other. For Dave Roberts and the front office, it has never been that yet. So until they start to make that decision on the lineup, I'm going to say it's going to be between Edman and Kim and essentially Pages, because Pages is the only other guy who plays center field.
Yeah. I'm going to make one change because I made a mistake already. We're taking Ha-Seong Kim out at second base. Give me Kike Hernandez at second base.
Okay.
Keektober starting at second base. I'm with you. I do not think there is a trade, but I will do Pages in right field, Tommy Edman in center field, and Teoscar Hernandez in left field. That would be my alignment. So we're differing on, you've got Conforto in left. I've got Kike at second base. Who's starting game 1 for the Dodgers of the World Series?
Yamamoto.
Okay. I'm going to go Blake Snell.
And I was going to say, I think even with everybody healthy, I think some of this is matchup dependent for the Dodgers, that it always is. But I think they'll have a big enough lead that they'll be able to line this thing up in the last couple of weeks of September.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be Yamamoto. But Snell is, I think before all the injury stuff, Snell was probably my pick to start a game 1. Yeah.
Yeah. I think both. I think you can make a case. And realistically, once you get to the World Series, it has way more to do with how many games did the series before it go than it does about like actually getting to line up your best starter most of the time. So
was the question World Series? Sorry.
What's that?
Was the question in World Series? Was the original question?
Yes. Oh, okay. The original question was.
I stand by all my picks still.
There you go. There you go. Stockton Slap says Pages in right by October, Teo in left. Yeah, look.
Which is fair. Like, in all honesty, I think that's their best lineup.
Yeah. Well, until Conforto goes on a heater and becomes all-star level Conforto, but yeah.
Yeah.
Carlos wants to know, there are rumors the Dodgers are going after Alcantara. Thoughts, do we need him? Would he be a good pickup? What do you think, Anthony?
Yeah, I think he'd be a good pickup for anybody. I think that may reek of some who's the source on this. Like not the reporter who had this information, but like, where did that info get to the reporter from? I think that matters here. And so it's either from the Marlins themselves or from maybe the player's agent. I can just about guarantee you it did not come from the Dodgers. So yeah, look, here's one thing to know in the next couple of, next 3 or 4 weeks is that any big name, Chris Sale, whoever,
Yeah.
They're going to get linked to the Dodgers, whether the Dodgers have any real interest or not. Two reasons. One, reporters just in general know that the Dodgers have the pieces, and in the past, and this people might disagree with this, but for the most part, they've been one of the more aggressive teams at the trade deadline, basically throughout the Andrew Friedman regime.
You cannot possibly argue. The Dodgers have been the most aggressive team year over year over year.
Yeah,
So,
everyone wants to go back to the one year where they kind of did nothing and got knocked out of the playoffs, but they've been one of the more aggressive teams. So those two things will have every reporter linking the Dodgers to X player.
Yeah.
The other thing is every team that has a player that is being, is on the block, they're going to put the Dodgers names into this, because that's how you drive the price up for other teams who might have more interest than the Dodgers might. So a couple of nuggets to keep in mind as you start to hear all these reports and rumors come out.
Yeah. I think Alcantara is good. I think he's, obviously has the potential to be one of the better pitchers in all of Major League Baseball. We went over the starting rotation on Sunday. I just don't think the Dodgers are going to make a move for a starting pitcher. I don't think Andrew Friedman is lying to us when he says we are trying to do our shopping in the offseason so that we do not have to do our shopping at the trade deadline. Obviously, there's still a month to go until we get to the trade deadline, but it appears as if the Dodgers are going to be able to look at the top, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, basically 10 guys on their depth chart, depending on where you want to slot Roki Sasaki. And let's say 6, 7, or 8 guys on their depth chart are all going to be healthy, or at least projected to be healthy by the time the deadline comes around. We're talking Yamamoto, Snell, Ohtani, Glasnow, Kershaw, Sheehan, Robleski, May, Kasparius, Knack. I mean, literally everyone but Roki Sasaki is projected to be healthy. And, Alcantara is incredibly good. Like, I would just ask you, is he better than Yamamoto, Snell, Ohtani, or Glasnow? And I know people don't like Glasnow because of the injury stuff. And I'm not talking about Glasnow long-term. I'm just saying on a start-to-start basis, are we positive that Alcantara is a massive upgrade over Tyler Glasnow? The answer is no. Like, he's been better of late, Alcantara has. But I just, to give up the prospect capital to go and get him, given who you have on the roster, this is why you sign guys in the offseason, and the Dodgers have aggressively done that. So I just, unless there is a major injury and all course-altering injury on the offensive side or the pitching side, I don't think the Dodgers are going to be in the position player market, and I don't think they're going to be in the starting pitching market. Relievers, who knows?
Not for a blockbuster, and maybe not in the starting pitching market at all. Believe Andrew Friedman when he said, like, we have been this aggressive with free agents and trades and extensions and things like that within the rotation, within the bullpen, within the lineup, because we don't want to have to overpay at the deadline in prospect capital. Believe him when he says that, because that is why they've gone out and made all these moves. Guys hurt right now, yes, but do they expect all of those guys back, with the exception of probably Roki? Yes, they do.
Yeah. A couple more super chats here. 300. I think the Dodgers look for a high-end defensive outfield replacement and a bullpen arm. Look, if they want a high-end defensive outfielder, there's one of those guys down in AAA who's been on a tear, and you might not like the strikeout rate, and I don't blame you for not liking the strikeout rate, but if we're talking defensive replacement in the outfield, I did see, I think it was Clint Pasillas who sort of tossed this out there a little bit, is like, do the Dodgers, if the Conforto experiment comes to an end at some point, do they just call up Outman as basically a late inning defensive sub to give yourselves a better defensive outfield? Like, do you buy any of that sort of thinking, Anthony?
If he continues to produce offensively, like just at a solid to good level for Outman, I think so. And I think that would be completely reasonable.
Yeah.
You might see him up in September when the rosters expand a bit. But I'm with you. If the Conforto stuff just they finally scrap it, then I could see that being the case and saying, you know what, we're going to ride with what we have in terms of like Paez, Edman, Teo, and then we're going to keep this, defensive weapon on the bench for when we need him. I think that would be reasonable rather than go and spend capital on another bench player. I think that would be fine.
Fritz says, was Benny Caps as a starter just an experiment? Are they giving him more runway or keeping him in the pen, just long relief? Piggybacks like Robleski has been announced as the guy who will piggyback Shohei Ohtani on Saturday in his next start. So Kasperius had that role. Now it will be Robleski. I don't believe they've named what Kasperius's next appearance is going to be. There's speculation that Emmett Sheehan is going to be back soon. He was pitching tonight for Oklahoma City. There is speculation that Tyler Glasnow, as we'll get to here in just a minute, could be back sooner rather than later. And so I think Ben Kasperius long-term, they're still hoping he's going to be a starting pitcher, 2026, 2027, beyond. But I think it's fair to wonder, Anthony, while they do want to have a 6-man rotation, there's a world where Yamamoto and Ohtani / Robleski, Glasnow, Kerhsaw, Sheehan, May, that kind of gets you to 6 without needing Kasperius. So is it possible that the starter stretching out experiment has ended?
I would think it's pretty safe to say that at the moment, at least for the immediate future. They tried to see what they could do with him and kind of didn't really work out. So I think they're going to put him back in a position where they have seen success for him this season. And then they might just wait till the end of this season and go into next season and then try to figure out, is he a starter for us or not? And which I think is all fine. Like he was nails in the role they had him in previously. And so I would feel more comfortable with that at the moment.
Yeah. Okay. Last super chat here for a little bit. Oh, we just got another one. Stockton Slap says Kopech back on the DL. Did he sneeze too hard? Give us 1 second on the injury update. He also said, is it just me or does Robo look like a future star? Look, the stuff is there. Left-hand side. Are you buying Robleski as more than sort of just a depth piece in this organization, Anthony?
I think his ceiling is higher than a guy like Landon Knack, maybe Ben Kasperius as well. Where that fits in, like, is he a top of the rotation kind of arm? I don't know that yet.
Yeah.
But I do think that to the question, I do think that he has the potential to be a piece of this rotation going forward.
Yeah.
Maybe not completely this year, but I think longer term outlook for him. Yeah, I think he can find a spot there.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think he's in that Kasperius tier. Again, I think Kasperius, what we've seen, maybe hasn't been totally fair to him because of how he's been used so far this season, and then expecting him to just transition into being a starter and be successful on the fly is maybe not totally fair. I don't think he's in the Emmett Sheehan tier. We'll have to see what a guy like Gavin Stone or River Ryan look like when they come back. But I think Robleski, Kasperius are kind of in that next tier of guys. With you, I agree, ahead of Landon Knack. But dudes that could potentially, be number 3 type starters for the Dodgers if things break the right way. So, all right, let's get to some injury updates because I know we had a couple people asking about those. Let's start with Michael Kopech, who's not on this list, but who injury update we will start with. He was added to the injured list today with knee inflammation. What was the right knee inflammation? He says it's precautionary. Dave Roberts says it's not expected to be long-term. So it was not a sneeze, but kind of out of nowhere. All the reports, Anthony, again, not expected to be long-term. Kopech says it's just precautionary, but are you able to be unconcerned by this?
No, no, not at all. We've heard all of that before. Look, we hope that that's the case, but we've heard that 100 times in the last few years. So, I'm absolutely concerned. There was some speculation that he could have hurt it. He threw a pitch at Dodger Stadium.
It was the balk against San Diego.
Yeah, where he sort of landed weird, all of that stuff, and that knee looks like it kind of buckles. So people were sort of guessing maybe that was where he did it. If so, and it's still bothering him at this point, that's a little more concerning for me.
Yeah.
If that's when he did it.
Look, we know what the greater concern here, Anthony, is. It's the curse of the dog of the week, which I was accused of. Don't bring this segment back because you just curse people. And then I give Kopech love literally 2 days ago. and he goes on the injured list immediately.
Brutal.
Yeah. So that's on me, everybody. That's on me. We're going to do better next time. And by do better, maybe just never do that segment ever again. Some more updates. Blake Snell and Blake Trinan will both be throwing to hitters live batting practice tomorrow. So that's good news. Both those guys threw together last week as well. So they are trending in the right direction. Tyler Glasnow will be starting for Oklahoma City on Thursday. Dave Roberts says the goal is 5 innings, 75 pitches for him. And interestingly enough, I referenced this earlier, it's possible that this is his last minor league appearance, Anthony. Are you surprised that we might get a Glasnow start prior to the All-Star break?
I would be. Especially I think where we were like a month ago with all of this, and how it felt like he was the least of all of the guys that in their progression, in talking about Ohtani and Snell, and just sort of where everybody was on that train. Sheehan as well was on that list. So yeah, the fact that he might be back before Snell is surprising. Not in the last week or so, because we kind of saw this coming. But yeah, there was a time where like we were getting regular updates of like progression from Blake Snell, and then Dave Roberts was like, "Oh, Glasnow, he's feeling okay, I guess."
Yeah, we're getting the Roki Sasaki treatment over there.
Right.
NS, by the way, says make Conforto your next dog of the week, please, Jeff. So there you go. Conforto
Maybe
is
it'll work in reverse for him.
Yeah, Conforto's immune. There's nothing you can do to stop that man. The rebound that is coming, folks, is what they call inevitable. Okay. So Glasnow, that's the update. Some people asked about Emmett Sheehan. He made what was expected to be his final start down in Oklahoma City before he returns. Was not great tonight. Keep in mind it's AAA in the PCL. 2 1/3, 6 hits, 1 walk, 4 earned runs, 2 strikeouts, 1 home run allowed for him. Just threw 59 pitches, 39 of those for strikes. So it's possible that Sheehan's next appearance comes at the major league level. It seems like they could use him, but not the best performance. Again, AAA numbers, hard to put those in perspective. Last update we got, though, Roki Sasaki, pain-free and everything ticking up, according to Dave Roberts. Still unclear on when he's going to throw off of a mound, Anthony, to be clear, but he is pain-free and everything is, quote, ticking up. So there you go. Do with that what you will, Anthony.
Yeah, I'll do nothing with it.
There you go. Until he was seen throwing, you can go on the Dodger Blue Twitter account. I believe it's up on our YouTube page as well, but Sasaki was throwing seemingly with a little more intensity than we have seen in the past. But there is your injury update, injury roundup. I saw Stockton Slap saying Phillips and Brewstar update. There's no Phillips update. He is done for the year. And Brewstar Gratterall, I believe we had like a slight update that the hope is still that he would be able to come back in the second half. But I don't believe we've gotten any tangible updates on him of late. Can you think of anything, Anthony?
I cannot remember the last time I heard anything about him. I know that a while ago, like the expectation was that he would be back post All-Star break. But yeah, I have not heard anything about it. Okay,
we'll allow the admin to let us know if there's something we're missing on the timeline for Gratterall. But there you go. We appreciate the super shot. Carlos, thoughts on Mookie taking a, quote, mental day? Mookie Betts not in the lineup today after a team off day yesterday. We know the struggles that he has had. The phrasing that Carlos brings up of a mental day, that was from Dave Roberts. He said, quote, to be honest, probably more of a mental day when asked about the day off for Mookie Betts today. Does not think it's related to playing shortstop. He goes, I don't think if we threw him in right field, he'd suddenly get 3 hits. But what do you make of the Dodgers, again, off yesterday and then giving Mookie the day off today?
Yeah, I agree with Dave that this is not a position change thing and why he's slumping. He played shortstop at the beginning of last season too, when he was red hot and arguably the best hitter in the National League for a while. So I'm good with it. We had been talking about this, kind of off and on here when we've been on the last week or so. We said maybe one for Freddie as well coming up. So yeah, I'm fine with it. I think it's probably good. Sometimes it's good for these guys to just kind of watch the game. They might notice something in someone else that they can be like, oh, maybe I'm doing that thing too. Or just a day to be able to hit in the cages, hit it on the field, watch some film without the pressure of like, okay, I got to get ready to start this game and try to take that stuff into the batter's box in real time. So, sometimes these things can be good. Look, the way he's been going, a day off can't hurt.
Yeah, exactly. And again, the Dodgers end up winning anyways. They score 6 runs. Yamamoto does the job. And so if you're Dave Roberts and you can take a guy off his feet like Mookie Betts and still have the offense produce, not have any issues defensively at shortstop either, then kudos to that. That's what you're hoping for. So again, Betts gets the off day today. And I think you and I have been pretty consistent on this, Anthony. We're not out on Mookie Betts, the baseball player. We're not out on Mookie Betts, the offensive player. And yet we also, I feel like, have been pretty consistent that we're not expecting in the next 2 to 4 weeks for this offensive thing to necessarily turn around. If you think this is at all connected to the fact that he lost a bunch of weight at the beginning of the season and navigated what he had to coming out of the Japan series, or I should say in Japan, and then coming out of the Japan series, then that's not something that, like Freddie Freeman, you just fix in a batting cage one day. There probably is an element of just getting used to a different body type, some different strengths, some different muscles, and kind of how that fits with your swing and that type of thing. But while I am not out on Mookie Betts, I'm also not expecting like a couple days off in June and July to necessarily fix this thing either.
Yeah, not to get him back to like elite MVP candidate Mookie Betts. I think that he can get back to like being better and being an all-star kind of offensive player, talking about a 120 OPS plus 120 weighted runs created plus that kind of guy. And then maybe next year he's back to like, arguably the best shortstop in the league kind of Mookie Betts. So, we'll see. Like I said, I'm not out. Like, I don't think what he's doing currently is like, this is just what he is now. I'm not sold on that quite yet.
Yeah. I'm with you. Shout out, by the way, to over 1,500 people in here live with us on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter. We appreciate it. Again, this is DodgerHeads, part of the DodgerBlue.com family, the medium large sports network. We appreciate all of you. One other note, by the way, we mentioned Ohtani hitting a home run with 2 outs tonight, his 30th home run, the fastest Dodger ever to hit 30 home runs, Anthony. 86 games is all it took Shohei Ohtani. That's a franchise record, I believe, by 1 game. Eric Steven was who I saw first with that stat. So apologies if somebody else beat him to that. But fastest Dodger ever to 30 home runs. And it almost is like, it doesn't even get reported. It's like, well, how do you keep track of all of the things that Ohtani is doing better than anybody has ever done? He was in the midst of an 0 for 10 slump. He had struck out half those times, and then freaking 117 miles an hour, 42-degree launch angle, just plastered into the right center field seats, and having the best power season ever by a Dodgers player through 86 games.
On a ball that he looked kind of fooled on and was just like, it was almost a reactionary kind of panic swing, like, oh, this is kind of in the zone. I need to drop the head on this.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what he did at Shohei. So he hits it at 116 miles an hour, straight into the sky, and it goes well over the fence.
Yeah. Insane.
He's amazing.
He's amazing. Another super chat from Stockton Slap. Things I would do as a manager: put Mookie at second, Pages right, Kim at short, Ohtani out of the lead-up spot. I truly believe this makes us better. Look, I would argue Mookie and Kim flipping those two, you're actually making your defense worse. I think Mookie at shortstop is a better option than Ha-Seong Kim is at shortstop. And I think Ha-Seong Kim is probably a better second baseman than Mookie Betts is a second baseman. So Pages right, sure. Ohtani out of the lead-up spot. We just mentioned 30 home runs in 86 games. I think things are going pretty well for Shohei Ohtani out of the leadoff spot. So, but yeah, look, I think the Dodgers, Freddie Freeman, they've moved out of the cleanup spot. Like, the Dodgers have shown they're willing to experiment within reason on some of this stuff, move some guys around. So it's not all bad ideas, but I think some of those things are just things the Dodgers have seemed to indicate that they're not going to be interested in doing. Tomorrow night, Anthony, is a Wednesday. It's Yoshinobu Yamamoto bobblehead night, and nobody will care about Yoshinobu Yamamoto's bobblehead because the GOAT, Clayton Kerhsaw, goes for 3,000 strikeouts tomorrow night. He needs 3, which I'll be honest, Anthony, as the greatest, largest Clayton Kerhsaw defender on this show, 3 is is slightly too high for me to feel 100% confident. I would love for this to have been a 1 or a 2. 3 feels like we're going to have to sweat this one out into like the 3rd or 4th inning potentially until we get to 3. But our guy goes for history. By the way, myself, Daniel Starkin will be live on this channel tomorrow night if he gets to 3,000 strikeouts. We'll be doing a postgame show tomorrow night, maybe some special guests hopping in to talk about the ghost. So stay tuned on that. But he goes for 3,000 strikeouts tomorrow night. And the question I wanted to ask you, Anthony, is a question that Greg Bergman and I discussed on the Blue Review over on ESPN LA. Is Clayton Kerhsaw the last player we ever see get to 3,000 strikeouts? I say yes. That seemed to be the minority opinion. I'm curious where you stand on this.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. And there's arguments for your case. Careers feels like they're shorter, except for a few elite kind of guys. Is this the last generation of those guys who are throwing 15 plus seasons? We'll see.
Yeah.
And the trend of not letting starters go as deep into games now.
Yeah.
Not letting guys face the order a 3rd time through, all that kind of stuff. All of that will contribute to that potential trend. I think, though, the thing that leads me to believe that there will be some others are guys are just on a stuff scale.
Yeah.
Are as good as they have ever been in the history of the sport with that stuff and having strikeout caliber weapons. And for some of these guys, more than one pitch, coupled with the strikeout rates just rising.
Yeah, the 3 true outcomes kind of approach.
Yeah, so I think the strikeout rates and the different approaches for hitters now, even for some of the best hitters, sort of offsets the lack of innings pitched for some of this generation. So I think that some of the elite guys will still get there, like a Paul Skeens type of guy. I think has a real chance to get there if he's durable enough.
Yeah,
and that's the main thing. Like,
is anybody durable enough? Is kind of the question, right?
Right, and like Kershaw, probably in all reality, should have had this like 3 years ago.
Yeah,
right. Like if he's making a normal amount of starts, and if that's the big question though, like with so many elbow injuries now, like that's a whole year for guys, that are they're gonna miss that time. And I feel like you really can't afford to do a lot of that. You got to make so many starts, unless you're going to pitch 17 seasons or something like that. So I don't think it's out of the question that we see more guys reach this milestone. I think that durability is going to be the biggest hindrance to it, though.
So here's the argument that I made to Greg, and I'll repeat many of the same things for why I think Clayton Kershaw is the last guy to get to 3,000. So Verlander and Scherzer are the only other 2 guys who are actively playing who have already reached this number. Clayton Kershaw, age 37, poised to do it. We're hoping tomorrow night. Verlander and Scherzer, I would say, are unique compared to Kershaw because their velocity maintained all the way later in their career. Kershaw lost velocity 5 or 6 years ago, it feels like. But here's the number that jumped out to me. Verlander and Scherzer, the last time they threw over 200 strikeouts in a season was their age 36 season. Neither of those guys ever threw a 200 strikeout season after 36. Clayton Kershaw, by all accounts, is not going to approach 200 strikeouts this year. So when you look at guys who are close, who are the next group, the closest active player is Chris Sale. He's 472 away. He just turned 36 years old. So I just mentioned neither of those guys has ever thrown a 200 strikeout season. So he would either need 360 strikeout seasons starting now, or he would have to do something that neither Scherzer or Verlander has been able to do.
You're talking about Sale?
Chris Sale, yeah.
You're saying what was it you said about the 200 strikeouts?
He's 472 strikeouts away. He just turned 36. Verlander and Scherzer never had a 200 strikeout season after 36.
Okay, gotcha. Last season, though, Sale did have 225.
Correct. That was his most since 2018. So here's the point that I'm making about Chris Sale. He had 225 last year. He's likely not going to get to that number this year. He's missing some time. Even if he did that, He would need to do that next year and the year after that to get to 3,000 strikeouts. That would be his age 38 and 39 seasons, and then he would get there. To put it in some context, Garrett Cole is next on the list.
I think he does it. I think he does it.
I mean, I just think it's a math thing with Chris Sale, 472 strikeouts. Like, think about how many seasons you've got to go back in that guy's career just to get to his last 472 strikeouts would be my question.
Well, for sure. And we're talking because of durability. Like, he made 11 starts in 21 and 22.
Yeah, he's not going to get more durable.
No, I understand that. But I mean, he was pretty good last year. Even and it wasn't like he made 30 starts last year, but he was pretty good. I think, though, he does what Kerhsaw is doing, and he hangs on to get there.
So in this year and the 4 years prior to it, hold on, I just had the number. This year and the 4 years,
he made 29 starts last season.
Correct. Basically, you've got to go. It took him 4 seasons, the last 4 seasons, to get to 472 strikeouts for Chris Sale. You could say yes, I say no. Garrett Cole, he's 750 away at age 34. He turns 35 in September. He has 722 in his last 3 full seasons combined. So if he just repeats his last 3 years, then he might get there. But that would be repeating his 31, 32, 33 seasons at age 35, 36, and 37. Unlikely. The only guy under 30, the first guy under 30 on the list is Dylan Cease. He's 36th. He's not even halfway there. Tarek Skubal, I saw some people mention, he's at 773. I mean, he's 28 years old already. So, I mean,
I think Sale is the only active guy who's, like, when we're talking about not super young guys.
Yeah.
I think Sale does it because I think he just hangs on. Like, I think he hangs on for that reason.
Yeah. Again, the thing with him is you're betting on durability as he gets older, that he will be more durable than when he was young.
I am actually not. I'm not. That's why I'm saying he just hangs on. Like, no one would call Clayton Kerhsaw durable. And, like, in most situations, like, even though he has been still mostly effective, which so has Chris Sale, Clayton Kerhsaw, no one would have batted an eyelash if he retired 2 seasons ago.
Okay, so Sale's 36. How old do you think he has to be to get to 3,000?
I mean, plenty of guys have gotten that number at 39 or 40, right? Like,
okay,
it's not
39 is 3 years from now.
Yeah, and so he strikes out, what is, I don't know.
That'd be 160 a year for the next 3 years, which he's done one time since 2019.
Yeah, I mean, he needs a little less than 500, right?
Yeah, it's like 472.
Yeah, I mean, I think if he can make 20 starts a season with the stuff he still has, yeah, I think he can. I think he does it. And if he has to pitch another season, like, let's say he's not as effective or whatever, like, I think he hangs on. If it takes him 10 starts to get there, like, I think someone brings him back and lets him do it.
Yeah. Again, I understand the argument you're making, which is, hey, he's not going to do it by 39. He'd have to be 40 or 41. My only pushback, because I'm with you, I think Sale is the most likely. Skeens, if we're going young guy, I'm with you. To give you context, Skeens has like 300 strikeouts so far. If he got 200 strikeouts a year, obviously he could do more than that. But if he averaged 200 strikeouts a year, he would need to be healthy for the next 13 and a half seasons in order to get. He would need to average 200 strikeouts a year for the next 13 and a half seasons after this one. That would be taking him through his age 36, 37 season. That just puts into perspective how hard this accomplishment is. So we'll see. Sale is obviously the closest to it, besides Kerhsaw, the guy that we will most quickly find out about. But you and I, we differ on whether or not Sale gets there, whether or not he can hang on, is still effective enough to get there. So I think
we also differ on, will anyone else, even if it's not Sale, ever get there? I think, yeah, I don't think that's a number where that's, like, just completely out of touch. Like I said, especially with what the strikeout rates are, and as long as we keep valuing velocity as a sport, hitters are going to continue with the current approach, and as long as that happens, it just takes somebody to be durable enough for a long enough time. And, maybe that's Skeens, maybe it's somebody else. But I think that I don't think that number is completely out of reach given the current landscape of baseball and the environment that we're in.
Yeah. And a lot of it has to do with, right, what we're talking about here. A lot of it has to do with health. Like, because to your point, stuff is getting better, but at the same token, guys seem to be getting hurt more often because of the velocity, because of the movement and that kind of thing. Just out of curiosity, I kept mentioning 200 strikeouts. How many pitchers do you think threw 200 strikeouts in Major League Baseball last year?
Ooh, 4?
10. So
10.
there you go.
More
10.
more than I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a situation where, again, teams just not letting guys go as deep into games, Dodgers included.
Yeah.
And then a lot of full seasons missed.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure. It's 32 strikeouts, guys with 32 starts, guys with nasty stuff, all in the mix. All right, let's get to some questions, folks. All caps questions. We got 10-ish minutes left. We'll get to those. Stockton Slaps has another one. Says, would you take Skeens or Scooble in Dodger Blue?
Skeens.
On age alone, baby.
Not even,
on age alone.
Not even a question.
If it's for 1 year, who would you take?
If it's this year, Scooble.
Yeah. I think I'm with you. I think that's the right answer. If we're talking about like for the next 5 years, give me Skeens because of age. If we're talking about, for the next 12 to 18 months, it's hard to argue with what Scooble's doing right now. As Dr. Slap says, going back to the Ohtani conversation, imagine how many more RBIs Ohtani would have if he wasn't batting leadoff.
Would he though? The bottom of the order has really improved for him. And who are you putting at leadoff then? Mookie? Because we are all talking about how bad Mookie's been.
Yeah, totally. Sign stealing scandal. Is there any path to winning the Glasnow trade? I feel like his on-field ceiling isn't crazily different than Pepio's. He's going to give like half the innings at best, 10x the cost. I got absolutely murdered for questioning this trade in real time because I think I was maybe the biggest Ryan Pepio fan. And to be fair, I said once they re-signed Glasnow at the number they signed, I said, all right, I get it. You're taking the ceiling swing on Tyler Glasnow. It's hard to argue that all of the concerns anybody had about the Glasnow trade aren't totally vindicated and justified. So in your mind, like, is this trade already deemed a total failure, Anthony?
No. And I'm struggling with the on-field ceiling stuff. What has Pepio given us that makes us think that like he's capable of like a sub-3 ERA on a regular, consistent basis? He's 27 right now, or he's in his 27-year-old season. So like, it feels like that would be already part of the equation for him if he had that higher ceiling. I think Glasnow's ceiling is Cy Young. I don't think Pepio's ceiling is Cy Young anymore. So
Pepio has a better ERA in the major leagues in the 2 years since this trade has happened than Tyler Glasnow. Pepio's a 3.5 ERA. Glasnow's a 3.6 ERA. So, I mean, ceiling, I guess, are we factoring health into the ceiling conversation, or is it just like when you're healthy, one start, that kind of a thing? I'm with you. Like, I don't think anybody is ever going to make the case that Ryan Pepio is one of the 5 to 10 best pitchers in Major League Baseball. I think people are going to make that case when Tyler Glasnow's healthy for like 6 consecutive starts, and on the 4th one, he's absolutely dominant. People are going to say, is this guy when healthy the best in Major League Baseball? However, we can't keep having the Glasnow conversation, and you're not saying this, but we can't keep having the Glasnow conversation and doing the when he's healthy, ... because it's been long enough and repeated enough. And so I agree with you. If depending on how we want to define ceiling, sure. Although, maybe that what the person is saying here is that Pepio's actually just been better in the 2 years since this trade has happened, with half the innings, with 10 times the cost. All those factors are accurate. So I think there's a world where you don't get slaughtered in this trade if Glasnow can put together a nice stretch, if he can contribute to a postseason run, that kind of thing. But
I mean,
it's definitely not looking
you're
awesome.
saying that like if it all ended right now, it's a slaughter. I don't think it's a slaughter. Like Ryan Pepio hasn't been great in Tampa Bay.
He's a 3.5 ERA guy in 43 starts,
which is solid. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Tyler Glasnow has also been
better than Tyler Glasnow
by a 10th of a run.
Right. And one of these guys is a free agent in 2029 making the league minimum, and the other guy's making $25 million a year.
Okay, don't give me. I'm not on an argument like this. I'm not taking the money into.
But it says, and he's giving half. The question was 10 times the cost.
This for me in baseball, especially when you're considering the Dodgers, that doesn't matter to me because the money is not a factor for them. If this was a basketball or a league with the salary cap, then yes, absolutely take that into consideration. But for Tampa Bay, that means more than it does for the Dodgers. The Dodgers don't care.
I mean, look, if you say that, then it's like, what's the point of arguing about any of this? Like they're paying one guy.
Numbers. Well, that's BS. I'm not letting you get away with that one.
One guy's making $125 million, the other's making the league minimum, and we can't talk about money.
Tell me, has that stopped the Dodgers from going out and doing anything else with their roster?
We have no idea because they signed Blake Snell. Right. But I mean, who knows if they didn't have that money? Do they go out and get Max Fried instead? Snell and Fried? Do they go out and sign Corbin Burns? Like the only reality we know is they spent $125 million on Tyler Glasnow. And when you're paying him $25 million, you're not going to pay 7 other guys more money than you're paying him.
Okay. I mean, I guess that feels like a reach though. Like Pepio has been a little bit better because he's been healthier probably. But like to say what your implication was that you said there's a world when where the Dodgers don't get slaughtered in this trade. I don't understand. That's my point. I don't see how it's a slaughter currently. If everything ends today, if Pepio retires and Glasnow retires, it's a slaughter.
Well, yeah, because the whole point of the conversation is that Ryan Pepio is under team control until 2029 and making no money. So, of course, if it ends today, then it's
my hypothetical. You were using a hypothetical. My hypothetical then is if it all ends today. Okay. Pepio doesn't throw another pitch.
Absolutely right.
Doesn't throw another pitch.
If the world ended tomorrow, this is not a trade slaughter.
Okay, see, no, because you're giving a hypothetical, but then when I come back with one, you're not allowing me to do it.
My point is, when you trade one guy who has 7 years of team control for another guy who has 1 year of team control, you can't say money and team control don't matter.
It matters to the Rays. It doesn't matter to the Dodgers.
I mean, I think both things could. I think it can be true. I think both things can be true. So, regardless,
after the Glasnow trade, they signed Ohtani. They've signed Snell,
Yamamoto,
Kerhsaw, Kirby Yates, Kim. Yeah. Even though those guys weren't super expensive, whatever. So no, I don't think the money is a factor for that side of the trade.
So if you could go back and undo this trade, would you undo it?
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Like not even a question in your mind.
No, because for some reason you think it's a slaughter at this point because you're.
I asked if you thought it was a slaughter. I think it is.
What you said was.
I said, is there a world where this isn't a slaughter?
Where this trade doesn't end up as a slaughter for the Dodgers?
Right. It was a question. I was not implying my view is that it's a slaughter. I think the Dodgers are going to lose this trade heavily. Slaughter is probably a stronger word than I would use for my own answer to that question. I think it's like this is a massive L for the Dodgers.
What does a massive L look like then?
It looks like Tyler Glasnow, who nobody believes can stay healthy, and paying him a lot of money and having given up on a guy who you would have had under team control for until 2029 for no money.
Who's a middle of the rotation arm?
I mean, 3.5 ERA is pretty good. Like it's better than Glasnow. That's the part. Like if Glasnow had been a 2.5 ERA guy and made 20 starts over 2 years, then I think we're having a different argument. Like Glasnow literally has been worse than Pepio when healthy, and he has not been healthy.
Agree. But like Pepio's not making all-star games.
Is Glasnow making all-star games?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like you're taking two guys who aren't an all-star, and you're saying the Dodgers have taken a massive L in this trade.
Right, because you're only looking at like past performance. I'm saying I'm baking in that one of these guys is making no money until 2029.
Okay. So then if Glasnow comes back and gives you a 2.5 ERA over his next, let's say 20 starts, say he becomes healthy.
Yes.
Then what?
Then I'm with you. That's the world where this isn't a slaughter. But do you believe that's going to happen? It can. We know it can. But do you believe?
Can he make 20 starts in the next calendar year? Like.
I mean, I need more. Like he's made 5 starts this season. So presumably he's going to be back by the All-Star break. Let's call it the 95 game mark. So over the next 70 games, can we get 12 starts from Glasnow between now and the end of the season?
I think he can be healthy for the rest of the season when he comes back. Yes.
Will he be healthy?
Well, I don't know that. Will Shohei Ohtani be healthy? He's had
Look,
2 elbow
I mean,
surgeries.
Ohtani has a better track record than Glass now.
Does he's missed 2 full seasons?
Fair. Then maybe he doesn't. Yeah. And I think these are all factors that are baked in. That's my point.
My only thing is, I'm not saying the Dodgers can't lose this trade. That's not what I'm saying. My contention here is with like the massive L, the slaughter. Like this is just a complete blowout. Like
yeah,
Pepe, like for a trade to be a blowout, the guy that you're saying won the trade, that guy's got to make one All-Star team at some point.
Agree to disagree. I think you're talking about value that is going to be spaced out over the course of years on one side of things versus value that you're hoping to get in a very short amount of time. And again, I don't think it's crazy to say that the Dodgers are not going to take an L on this trade. Like I'm not pushing back on the idea that the Dodgers might end up quote unquote winning this trade. All I'm saying is,
and that's not even that's not my argument. Again, that's not where my pushback comes from. My pushback comes from that you saying that this trade is already a complete blowout.
Yeah, I think it's trending in that direction.
Okay.
So, and again, if you believe that Glasnow's going to be healthy, then you can think that I'm crazy. I think there were concerns about Glasnow's health. So far, those have been, I think, vindicated. And again,
absolutely.
You're looking at a guy who's 31 now, and does he get more healthy moving forward? Anything is possible. Anything is possible. I love it. The chat's on board. We're 50-50 on the chat. That means we're having a good conversation.
It's a really good debate. My thing is, I don't think the Dodgers have not lost this trade to this point.
Okay. Yeah. Disagree. Carlos says Jeff and Anthony, great discussion.
You disagree that the Dodgers have lost? I'm saying the Dodgers have lost this trade to this point. Yes.
Oh, they have lost to this trade.
Yeah.
I think so. They haven't.
I keep saying that. It's not what I'm saying is it's not a complete wash like this thing's over. It's a blowout.
Yeah. Again, we don't need to rehash this. I'm going to stop right there.
Yeah. I think some people are misinterpreting what I'm saying here.
Could be. It could be. Aaron says, let's not act like Pepio wouldn't get slaughtered by fans. They beg for a mid-starter who's healthy. May has been that, and fans want him gone. May's ERA is over a run higher than Ryan Pepio's has been. So a 3.5 and a 4.5. There's a big difference between those numbers. So for what it's worth, Stockton Slap says, Jeff is right. It's not even close. Anthony's got his supporters in the chat as well. So 50-50. I think we're good. Okay, let's get to some more questions here. Ederico asked a question I believe we answered on Sunday. Who do you think gets the 3,000 strikeout from Kerhsaw? We're both projecting it to happen tomorrow. I said Kyle Teal if he's in the lineup.
I said whoever's hitting in the 7th spot.
Yeah, I forget. Was that Benintendi? Or you didn't even name a name. You just said pencil in whoever's number 7.
I honestly don't know how consistent the White Sox lineup is. I barely knew like one guy when we went through it the other night. So I'm saying I think he gets it at the 7th spot in the order. And
Moreno said Miguel Vargas because that's the guy that he knows. So
yeah,
there you go. Shout out to him.
Vargas is clean up, though, so Kershaw's got to get on a run quick.
We'll second time through,
Oof.
I'm telling you, I think, give me what inning you think it happens.
I think if he has to wait until the second time a guy like Vargas hits to get his 3rd strikeout, he might not be having a great outing.
Okay. I think it happens in the 3rd inning. What inning do you have it in? You think the 2nd or you think the 3rd?
I think it's possible that 7th spot doesn't come up till the 3rd.
Let's hope. Good Lord. Let's hope. Can you imagine? I mean, look, I'm just going to talk all my demons out right now. Can you imagine if Kerhsaw gives up like 2 runs in the 1st tomorrow and we're sweating like how long he's going to be in this game? And like he doesn't get his 1st strikeout until the 2nd inning. Like, I'm just like, I can't. Anthony, it's going to be World Series tension over here because your guy loves Kerhsaw. I almost booked a flight to LA to be at this game. I'm going to be an emotional mess tomorrow night.
I love it. Okay, I think the better question than like who is the strikeout or what spot in the order the strikeout comes in is what if Kerhsaw is struggling?
Yeah.
How long
this is what I need to talk out.
How long does Dave stay with him? Because I'm trying to pull the schedule up here.
You need to get this. You need to get this behind you. Like I think Dave is going to let him struggle. I think Dave is going to let him wear this a little bit because I think everybody in the world, even if it's like 4 earned runs through 3 innings and he's got like 2 strikeouts, Dave is just going to throw him back out there.
And his next outing is on the road.
Yeah,
However many days, however many games they wait, it's either going to be it's on the road. They go Milwaukee and San Francisco. After the White Sox, they get Houston for 3. So his next start would probably be on the road. So how long because if you want it to happen at Dodger Stadium, how long does they stick with them if he's struggling?
Yeah, you're right. It's probably in Milwaukee, and he's set up for Tuesday night at Milwaukee, which against Mizorowski, which would be pretty wild if that's how it ends up playing out.
Yeah.
But look, I don't care. I said before, I don't super care about the home road stuff. But man, golly, he needs to get it done tomorrow because
I care about it. I don't, for him, I don't want this to be anticlimactic. And I'm sure, like, if he does it at the former Miller Park, that they'll stop the game or whatever and do something, but it won't be the same.
Yeah, I'm with you. And they just need to get it over with, because if it doesn't happen tomorrow, it's going to be a week long of just exhausting, like, not awesomeness. So I actually think I'm going to be out of town then too. So we just get it done tomorrow, Kerhsaw. Like, just get this done. Do not let me miss this. Okay, Kersh?
I think he gets it. I think he gets it. He's been good enough that I think it happens.
Well, Moreno busted out the nerd stats for us and told us that the White Sox have a nasty strikeout rate. So there you go. They strike out a ton. That's Moreno breaking it down for us. Let's see. How many 12 strikeouts tonight. I mean, look, you look at the bottom of this order and you got 2 strikeouts apiece from 7, 8, and 9. So Josh Rojas was the 7 hitter tonight. So everybody struck out except for Sosa. He was in the 6 hole. 2 strikeouts from the leadoff guy, and then 1 from everybody else until you get down to Sosa got 0, Rojas, Baldwin, and Taylor 2 apiece. So that's what we need. We need those 7, 8, 9 hitters in there. Just let the man do his business and move it on. Okay. Let's get the vibes back up with some food questions. Ederico's got one for us, and then our guy David's got one. We'll call it a night. What's your go-to food during cold weather? I love that he's asking us this on July 1st. It's like 1,000,000 degrees everywhere in the country, but I appreciate it. There's maybe international people, who knows? Maybe Ederico's chiming in from Antarctica or something like that, Southern Hemisphere.
He's thinking cool thoughts.
He said homemade chicken noodles for him. It's impressive. What's your go-to food during cold weather, Anthony?
Probably like pozole or albondigas, something like that. Some kind of soup like that.
What was the second one you said?
Albondigas.
I've never heard of that.
It's like a Mexican meatball soup.
Sounds good. I'm not a big soup guy. It just doesn't feel it doesn't feel like it satiates. Like I don't leave feeling full. I like soup when I'm eating it, but I'm never like, you know what I want tonight is soup.
So, I eat soup in the summer.
It's just a me thing. Do you ever do cold soup?
Nah, I'm not big on that.
Yeah, I don't do cold soup.
I've had it and it's fine, but just like, Like if I'm doing soup, I'm doing it because it's hot. Like that's part of the appeal for me.
Yeah. I'm with you. I don't even know what cold weather. I guess I do live in the Northwest.
Soup is not a meal. What is this, Seinfeld? If you've never had a bondigas or pozole, like that's a meal. Like that. Those are, what do they say on Seinfeld? That's a hearty soup.
Give me a curry. A nice curry sounds good on a cold night. There you go. How about that? Okay, David's got apps and dinner and cocktails. He says, yeah, he's doing the Italian restaurant tomorrow. Back to his brother-in-law's house for cocktails. Sound like a plan. David, how could you go wrong? Just
smart guy, David. Smart guy.
Yeah. No soup for you, Jeff. That's fine. Dong wants to know, have you found any new ramen spots you like?
Not lately. After I went to a game during the series against the Tigers, the home openers, and there was a spot in Little Tokyo that I walked to after we got back down the hill, and I forget what it was called, but it was pretty good. Okay. It's gonna bug me. I'll have to figure that out.
Jose wants to know if cereal qualifies as cold soup, Anthony.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, now we're gonna get into the definition of what soup is, and I feel like that's above our pay grade. Are you a clam chowder guy? Someone says clam chowder in a bread bowl is good on a cold day. That's a fantastic meal right there.
I love clam chowder.
Yeah, and of course, I almost said admin's name, who I think it is, said cereal is a soup, and I think they told on themselves there. So there you go. People aren't happy. People aren't happy about the soup as a cereal, but we'll just settle that. Take that to social media, folks, and let us know what you think on there. That's going to do it for us tonight. Again, assuming our guy Kershaw, 3 strikeouts tomorrow, Daniel Starkin and I will be back here. Same time, place. Dodger Blue 1958 on the YouTube channel.
He's doing it.
What's that?
He's doing it. You guys will be on tomorrow.
I like it. And again, maybe it's going to be an open invite. I just needed one commitment. Starkin gave me the one commitment. So unless the Lakers go crazy and trade for Giannis tomorrow, which, at this rate, they're not going to do anything. It's going to be freaking my uncle playing center for the Lakers next year. But that's another story. Go check out Lakers Nation. They're killing it. Folks, if you aren't already subscribed here, please subscribe. We are marching towards 100,000 subscribers. We have some awesome giveaways that we have planned for once we get there. So make sure you do that. We also are going to have some the Ohtani book by Bill Plunkett. We're going to be giving away some copies of that in the next couple of weeks. So if you're not already subscribed, ring the notification bell. Plunkett is going to be on with us. We're going to be doing some giveaways on social media. Nice. Dodger Blue 1958 on Twitter, on Instagram. So good stuff all the way around. So make sure you join us. Hit the like button. I see some people in the chat. That's helpful as well. That is Anthony Witrado. I'm Jeff Spiegel. We disagreed on Glasnow and Pepio, but I respect Anthony. And we're all good. This is what this is for. You have good content and a good place to talk when you can disagree with somebody, get into an argument, and then talk about whether cereal is a soup or not at the end of it. So
I love it.
It's good stuff. Check out DodgerBlue.com. Enjoy the rest of your night. Again, the Dodgers win. 8-game lead in the division. How about that, Dodgers?
The chat loved it, Jeff.
Yeah, good. They can't decide who's right or who's wrong, and that means we're in a good spot. If everybody agreed with one of us, that'd be a bad sign. But I think we're in the clear. So enjoy your night. Tomorrow night, Daniel and I. Thursday night, Bruce and I. Sunday night, Anthony and I. We got a ton of stuff coming up for you in the coming days. So enjoy the rest of your night, everyone. As always, go Dodgers.